May 26, 1940. Dunkirk, northern France. It was 9 p.m. The North Sea was already dark. Cold wind rolled in from the channel. The tide was slowly falling. Along 6 miles of open beach, more than 400,000 exhausted Allied soldiers were trapped. They had no food, no shelter, almost no ammunition. Most of them hadn't slept for days. The German 6th Army was less than 10 miles away. Their artillery could already hit the beaches. Their tanks were refueling. Their aircraft owned the sky. And offshore, the Royal Navy had just 9 old destroyers. Ships so worn and outdated that many believed they wouldn't survive even a single night. That evening, Admiral Bertram Ramsay's evacuation plan, Operation Dynamo, had just begun. Almost no one believed it would work. How the disaster began. 2 weeks earlier, everything collapsed. On May 10, 1940, Germany launched its invasion of France and the Low Countries. The Allies expected the main attack through Belgium. Instead, the Germans smashed through the Ardennes forest, a region Allied planners believed tanks could never cross. By May 13th, German General Heinz Guderian had crossed the Meuse River. By May 15th, the French front had shattered. By May 20th, German armored units reached the English Channel. The British Expeditionary Force and 3 French armies were now cut off. The race to Dunkirk had begun. The trapped Titans. By May 23rd, German Panzer divisions stood just 15 miles from Dunkirk. The beaches were already filling with men. British soldiers, French units, Belgians, engineers, cooks, drivers, anyone who could still walk. Then on May 24th, something unexpected happened. Hitler ordered his tanks to stop. For nearly 48 hours, German armor halted. Historians still debate why. Terrain concerns, supply issues, and Hermann Göring's promise that the Luftwaffe would finish the job from the air. Those 2 days would decide the fate of 338,226 men. Operation Dynamo begins. On May 26th, from underground tunnels beneath Dover Castle, Admiral Ramsay ordered the evacuation. He believed perhaps 45,000 men could be saved. That's all. The Royal Navy's available ships were few and outdated. HMS Wakeful, HMS Grafton, HMS Grenade, HMS Greyhound, HMS Keith, HMS Basilisk, HMS Havant, HMS Codrington, HMS Malcolm. Most were old destroyers from World War I. German officers later mocked them as floating scrap. They were about to save an army. The first night of hell. By midnight, Dunkirk was burning. Fuel tanks exploded. Warehouses collapsed. The sky glowed orange. German bombers screamed down from the clouds. Machine guns swept the sand. Shrapnel tore through columns of men standing waist-deep in freezing water. The main harbor was destroyed. Only one structure remained while the East Mole, a narrow concrete walkway stretching nearly a mile into the sea. It became the lifeline. The evacuation begins. At 2 a.m. on May 27, HMS Malcolm reached the East Mole under fire. Her officers guided soldiers aboard at nearly 800 men per hour. Other destroyers followed. HMS Wakeful carried over 600 men before being torpedoed. HMS Grafton was crippled by a submarine. HMS Grenade was sunk by German bombers. Still, the destroyers kept coming back. The numbers rise May 26 to 27, 7,669 men saved. May 27 to 28, 17,804. May 28th to 29th, 47,310. May 29th to 30th, 53,823. The beaches were still packed. Then the weather shifted. Low clouds and mist rolled in, blinding the Luftwaffe. Early on May 30th, Admiral Ramsay sent a message. The situation is grave, but not hopeless. By dawn on May 30th, more than 300,000 men were trapped on the beaches. Food was gone. Water was nearly gone. The wounded lay on sand, dark with oil and blood. German artillery shelled the evacuation zone every few minutes. Ships were sinking. Yet that morning alone, 53,823 soldiers escaped. The turning point. On May 31st, the evacuation peaked. 68,014 men were saved in a single day. French units now held the shrinking defensive line. They fought with little ammunition, almost no tanks, and no air cover. They bought time. Those hours saved tens of thousands. The night of fire. On June 1st, the Luftwaffe returned in full force. The harbor burned, HMS Keith was sunk, HMS Basilisk destroyed, HMS Havant crippled and scuttled. Yet the evacuation never stopped. By dawn, over 200,000 men were across the channel. The final days by June 2nd, most British forces were gone. The beaches were now French. Ramsay ordered the evacuation to continue. That day, 26,746 French soldiers were saved. On the night of June 3rd, the final ships departed. At dawn, German troops entered Dunkirk. The beaches were empty. The result, between May 26th and June 3rd, 338,226 Allied soldiers were rescued. 9 battered destroyers, once mocked as useless, had saved an army. They were not expected to survive. They did. Legacy: without Dunkirk, Britain would have lost its army. Without its army, Britain could not continue the war. Without Britain, the war might have ended in 1940. Dunkirk did not win the war, but it made victory possible.